Oh, I've got this flat braided Kevlar slash Aramid that I'm using. This is an aircraft wiring harness tape. I'm going to spin some hand cutting crackers, and you make a couple of loops, put it on a little hook. You tie the same thing in. Hello there. Hi there, this is Chuck with Pocket Snakes. I'm spinning some flat Kevlar slash Aramid lace. So this is an aircraft wiring harness tape that's flat that I'm spinning round, that I'm folding and back spinning. And these are specifically for cutting cans. You can use it for an abrasive cracker that is really amazing at cutting flower stems and stuff, because when you counter spin, it takes some of the spin out and it leaves the edges of the flat tape. So that makes this cracker particularly abrasive. Now, mind you, this cracker is really long as I'm doing it right here, but I'll be cutting these back to probably 12 inches or so. So then I'm just tying a knot here, and then I'm setting them all on a straw. So that keeps the spun eye open so that it's easier to place them on your whip falls. So it also packages them together. This is the 6th one I've spun. And then I'm going to go ahead and spin some actual Kevlar fiber yarn crackers, which are softer than these. But so you can see the nature. It's a 1/10 of an inch wide and a 100th of an inch thick, flat braided Kevlar. This is aircraft wiring harness tape, meant to hold the wires together if the plane's on fire. It's kind of expensive tape. It's like $280 a roll, and it's like a 700-foot roll or something. So it's not the cheapest material, but it's the best I've found for cutting cans or heavy flowers like irises, or cutting the stems of things. So, but you start off by hooking it on so this is the spinning hook, and then back here I've got a spinning crook for doubling the crackers over. So the spinning hook, this is a 3-foot piece, and I'm spinning, I don't know, 15-inch crackers. So it's kind of soothing to set and spin crackers. I'm going to scoot it back so you can see more of the process, or a little bit more of the process. Not sure if that helps. But hopefully it'll help me not knock the tripod over. That's always a problem. Hey, Sammy. Are you going to help make crackers? Or are you just going to come with my feet? I see. Trying to figure out where I have stuff. Hello there. I see somebody saying hello. And the camera's a little bit behind me because I've with 3 foot of material, it's quite a ways to get to there. 2, 4, 6, 7. So I need 3 more for the 10 pack of crackers. And I've got 3 more pieces. Now these are all cut 3 feet long. Bad part with 3 feet long is you got the ways for the hook to spin them. But they wanted extra long crackers, so I'm going to spin them extra long. I'm spinning them counterclockwise, and then I'll spin them clockwise. If you have any questions, feel free to ask questions as I'm doing this. It's not the most exciting video watching stuff get spun, but spinning's an art form. It's an old, old art form. This is actually basically a process by which you make twine. So 2 spun fibers spun together is spun in pairs, so that's technically twine. And I overspin these crackers a bit, because then when I seat it and pull on it, so this piece of twine spun like this should hold a couple 100 pounds on this little tiny 16th inch spun pear Aramid. It's pretty tough stuff. And the reason I counter spin it with this shape is so I can tuck it in and it holds the eye open, because we don't want that eye to close up, because then you're in the field trying to install a cracker tearing your hair out. But I try and share how I do things. If you want to make your own crackers, this is one way to do it. It's a manual process and it requires more skill than it looks to get the product even and spun consistently. This crook goes in the middle. And if you ever want a custom set of spinning tools, check out my website, pocketsnakes.com. These are spring steel. I also make them out of coat hanger wire, but they're fairly straightforward. Nothing has to be all that complicated. People tend to make things more complicated than they are. And this is the 10th cracker. So I'm going to spin, so this is 3 foot spun into a cord. I'm going to do one cracker that is doubled, so what I call a heavy cracker. These are for up to 10-foot bull whips or snake whips. And if you have a really heavy whip, you probably want something heavier than this cracker. If your cracker, when it came, had a 1/4 inch piece of rope, or pinky size cracker. These are pushing it. They'll be plenty loud. They'll be a beautiful cracker, but you might not last as long on the end of a real heavy whip. Then I got to check, 'cause these were just ordered and I stopped what I was doing to share how I make them in case they're interested. If you want to see how things are made, like or subscribe or both. If you subscribe, then you'll see when I go live, theoretically. Okay. So I'm gonna move the tripod up here. And I'm going to rotate it down so you can see what I'm doing. So there's a couple different ways to end the feathers on these, but since they're cutting cans with it, I'm going to show you my quick and dirty method, which works well. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So from the eye, you measure out about 9 inches. So that's about 9 inches out there. And take your little Sharpie and mark it. Now I'm going to make the feathers start at 9 inches. Okay. And that means that I'm going to tie now you can tie a figure 8 knot or you can tie a square knot, either one. But you want the black line. So that big knot will completely trash a can. I'm just making that knot right below that black mark so that they're consistent, because I try and make them all identical. So mostly because I'm a perfectionist. Wish I wasn't. My life would be a lot easier if I could say I don't care so much about that. And these will absolutely make your soda cans explode, especially if you shake the cans up first. And you don't tear up your falls if you hit it with, if you wrap the can successfully with the cracker. As it strikes, it will be more than enough. There's half the knots in. There's my black mark, make sure it's in the right place. Now you can make these more smooth for a figure eight, but having them just slightly off center so there's a bump helps break the can surface. So and people are going to be like, where are the feathers? It's like, okay. I'll show you where the feathers are here in a second. And one last knot for this set of 10. Okay. Then use your the joint of your thumb up over the tip of your thumb and a pair of dikes. And you'll have twin feathers. And then if you want to feather them further, you can. This is a flat braided material. So you can just pick the feathers apart if you want. You can see how the feather forms. And then those feathers will feather further. Each one of those yarns that makes up the feather will feather into a real beautiful flower of a cracker. You learn to just measure off your body because it's faster than measuring. Faster than bringing up a tape measure, and almost as accurate. Those will turn into nice 3-inch feathers out on the end. Until I have no, I busted my fingernail off earlier. My thumbnail off. That's what happens when you're braiding and constantly. Then I usually take these, tie them into an overhand knot like so. And that just allows me to bag them up nicely. Those are flat Aramid tape spun crackers. If you go to pocketsnakes.com, you can order them. They're under the crackers. And if you want them specifically for busting soda cans, tie that knot into them. Or you can ask me or tell me, and I'll tie a figure 8 knot. You'll be very successful breaking them. Even if you don't have a heavy whip, you can make cans explode with that. And those will feather like this in about 3 or 4 cracks. But even this will make a beautiful crack. So now I'm going to spin some Kevlar yarn crackers real quick. So this is the source material. This is Kevlar yarn with thousands of little fibers. So Kevlar yarn crackers, let's see, they ordered size 8. So size 8 is, you wrap your cubit twice, so it's about 6 foot. So I leave a little tail like so. I wrap my cubit twice. I have to find my scissors because I'm disorganized. Try not to lose the ends. Okay, so you put the 2 ends together. You tie an overhand knot. Tie a second overhand knot because the first one is just a stop knot. And now you have an 18-inch loop. So it's a doubled loop. Give me a second. Okay. It's about a 9-inch cracker. So I'm gonna do a little longer version of these. And fold it. Using my thumb to measure where that knot's going to lie. I personally don't like figure 8 knots, but if you're popping cans and stuff, they're great. There's a total of 8 strands or 8 yarns of Kevlar in that. Just tying the ends of it together really does help keep it from coming apart too strandedly in weird ways. Okay, so we're spinning 8 Kevlar yarns. So right now we're spinning 4 Kevlar yarns, and we're going to double it and make it an 8 Kevlar yarn cracker. So we're spinning it counterclockwise right this second. Then I'm going to put my crook and fold it. And now we're spinning it as twine. So there's 2 strands of spun material. We're making it into twine. have to. I normally don't tie big figure-8 knots, but this person's breaking cans with these crackers. So there's a nice feather. That one ought to be just about right. This Kevlar yarn stuff is neat because this is about 40-pound yarn. I'm wrapping my cubit 3 times. I'm hitting the camera just to be obnoxious, apparently. I'm tying 2 ends together. A couple, a stop knot and another overhand. How fast can you get out of hand or out of sorts with stuff? So now there's 2 loops to make 4 strands that are going to get doubled into 8. So we're spinning Kevlar yarn into bullwhip crackers. In this case, specifically to break cans. The guy has competitions to break cans. He's tired of tearing up his falls, so I'm making him crackers to break soda cans. Or at least that's the intention. Oh yeah, very large figure 8 knot here. I'm going to use the tip of my thumb to gauge the feather. One bad part with actual Kevlar yarn is it catches on everything. So every burr you've got on your hand will catch. You'll catch on every strand of leather running around your shop. And even when you think you've cut it with a pair of scissors, it's magically still got one strand. Hold itself up. The easiest way I've found to deal with it is tie it as a loop and use the doubled loop. It's been the most successful way to spin an 8-ply cracker out of Kevlar yarn. If you're interested in whips and the subject of making whips, or the interested in spinning or braiding, you might enjoy my channel. Hit the subscribe if you're not subscribed. If you're interested, you can watch me do all sorts of stuff on here live. I'm doing spinning crackers. And you can make necklaces the same way. A little figure 8 knot here. Just nice feather out there. So we're spinning eight ply Kevlar yarn crackers for breaking soda cans for performance ball whip. Custom order of crackers. So put the crook on it. Nice little figure eight going. Making crackers for ball whips out of Kevlar yarn. spinning 2 loops, which is 4 strands, until it's hard to spin. It starts knotting up, and then you fold it and counter spin it. There's right about 9 feet of string here. So we're spinning bullwhip crackers specifically to break. Specifically, these have a big knot to break soda cans for competition. Custom order from a guy. Spinning some bullwhip crackers out of Kevlar yarn, DuPont Kevlar yarn, 40-pound yarn to be specific. So this has 4 strands right now. When I fold it over, it'll have 8 strands of Kevlar yarn. You gotta work the little figure 8 knot. Roll it a little bit. There's 8 strands of Kevlar yarn in that cracker. Okay. Okay. This is Aramid flat braided aircraft wiring harness tape. And I'm going to spin 1 heavy weight here. This is for a very big, heavy bullwhip. Yeah, nothing wants to cut it. surprise. Okay, so this has 8 feathers. Okay. Okay. Anyway, this was Chuck with Pocket Snakes. I'm done spinning crackers, I guess. Thanks a lot.